All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our call with Drew Allar. As always, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. We'll start with Rich Scarcella.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning, Drew. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Drew, several of your teammates were asked yesterday about um, your leadership, your maturity, and all of them, the three of them said that you've asserted yourself as a leader. And I was just wondering, was that a concerted effort of yours going into camp?
Yeah, and that was something I really wanted to take a step forward. Like coming out of spring, during some of the exit interviews I had with like Danny, Coach Franklin, and Coach K. Because in the spring I felt like I was starting to make progress in that, but not as much as I really wanted to. And then really the summer is a great opportunity because none of the coaches are around. So really organizing everything with Coach Losi, getting on the same page with him on when we can do stuff, when we can't do stuff, how much we should be doing. And that was really good experience for me this year. I think that really just helped me going into fall camp, just asserting myself a little bit more. And honestly, like I talked to Danny throughout camp, just be myself. Like, obviously, I'm more vocal now than I was before, but it's not anything that I'm not preaching about that I'm not doing myself. Like, I'm gonna do whatever, I'm gonna tell everybody what to do, but I'm gonna make sure I'm holding myself to that high standard too as well. So, I mean, we have really good balance on offensive leadership. So, I'm really excited about that.
John Sauber.
Hey Drew, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. So with you guys opening against the same opponent, obviously as last year, it's kind of this a little bit of a full circle moment for you. How are you a different quarterback now than you were this time last year when you were making your first start against West Virginia?
Yeah, I think number one is just experience. Like obviously going into last year, I had a little bit of experience, nothing like starting a full season though. Really that experience is like unmeasurable in my opinion, because I've been through a lot of things last year, and really throughout spring and fall camp, and I think I've done a great job of learning from it, what I did good, what I didn't do so good, and how to improve upon it. And I think I'm playing some of the like more comfortable now than I ever have been, just with Coach K and Danny. I think we're really in a good spot as an offense right now. Now we just have to continue practicing today. We got a third downs going in today, and I know from what I previewed this morning, they're a pretty good third down defense. They mix it up a lot of looks, so it's just about perfecting it out there today on our practice, and then tomorrow, just revising it and polishing things up, and then hit the ground running.
Tyler Donahue.
Hey Drew, thanks for your time this morning. We've heard some good things about Liam Clifford, the way he performed during preseason camp. James has mentioned him along with Harrison Wallace as guys that have been leading that position. I'm curious what you have noted from Liam here in 2024 that has kind of taken him to another level and in terms of what he means to this offense and what he could produce come game days.
I think number one, when I think of those two guys, but specifically Liam, is consistency. They've been very consistent throughout, not only.
Are you still there?
All right, you guys hear me? All right. Uh yeah, I guess I was so Liam's just been very consistent. It's been just how consistent he's been and how he's prepared for, practices and installs. He's plays every position out on the field for us. And he's just here like he's fast, he's bigger and stronger. And he looks really good. He's super twitchy and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And he's making a lot of tough catches, and obviously we're going against one of the best secondaries in the country every day out there in practice. So they're making it tough on not only me but the receivers to come down and make those contested catches. And I think I've seen a lot of growth, not only from Liam but the whole receiving core in that aspect.
Daniel Gallen.
Thanks for the time today, Drew. Along the same lines with the leadership question, what did it mean to you to be named a team captain, and how do you view that responsibility both now and then going throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an honor. It's something like, that I really worked for. And I know not only me feels that way, but the rest of the captains feel that way as well. And I think it's a great group to be a part of. And now it's our job as captains of the team to, get everybody in line, whether it's, telling the coaches how the players are feeling, what we think we can do better as a team, or, making sure all the players are on the same page as the coaching staff. So I think it's just, a revolving door that's always going to be involving. We have to make sure that we're not letting anything slip, especially in the season, like all the little things. Talking offense, plane crashes happen because a bunch of little things adding up into one big thing. So we got to make sure we're on top of all the little details, away from the field and on the field during practice. So, those things don't catch up to us on game days.
Andrew Snyder.
Hey, Drew, thanks for doing this today. I wanted to I know I asked you this last year early on. I'm curious if it changed at all. What's it like kind of navigating campus now? Obviously, everybody has opinions, everybody has thoughts. What's it like, and what was the challenge last year? I know, obviously, like at one point your phone number got leaked, that kind of thing. How have you navigated that part of being the quarterback here?
Yeah, my answer is definitely a lot different than last year just because I don't think you really know what it's like until you go through it. Like I was literally just talking to Coach Franklin the other day about it. I logged off Twitter specifically. Like I just have my agents kind of run that for me if I ever had to post anything or anything like that. Um, I kind of deal with it that way now. And I remember Coach Franklin like kind of, telling me to probably do that last year, and I was probably a little bit late to that. And I don't think you really realize what it's like going through that until you actually go through that. But as far as campus, I mean it is what it is. Like we all get recognized, so it's definitely cool. Like we have a great fan base. Everybody's super respectful when they come up to me, and it's super fun kind of getting to interact with some people that maybe I never have before. And some people just kind of know me from class, honestly. Like some people will come up to me and tell me, "Yeah, you were in my one class, like spring semester," and it's kind of cool having those interactions with people. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change anything about it. But as far as social media, yeah, I definitely have a different opinion on that right now than I did last year at this time, for sure.
Johnny McGonigal.
Hey, Drew, thanks for your time. Much appreciated. You were a part of a pretty stacked 2022 recruiting class. If you could take me back when you guys were recruits, did you guys talk about competing for those bigger goals, Big Ten title, CFP? And how would you describe the camaraderie in that class now as you guys are now entering your junior seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've always been a super tight group, I would say. Even when we were recruits, like I think we were had a very close connection with one another when we were all committed and trying to get other guys to commit. And I think that was a really cool experience to kind of go through that. As far as goals, like obviously we came here to win games. Like that's always our ultimate goal. But I think for all of us going into our junior years now, like we have a lot more perspective on, what that takes and what we have to do away from the field and like in the off season to really, put ourselves in the best position to accomplish those goals. And, I think we're in a really good spot right now. We just need to continue growing as a team, growing leadership, and, just keep building off the positive things we've done in camp and then learn from the some of the mistakes we made in camp. And I think, when we take that mindset, a lot of good things can happen for us.
Neil Rudell.
Hey Drew, I'm wondering, did you watch much of the Florida State Georgia Tech game last weekend, kind of the first big game? And What did you learn from, watching them with technology? Just kind of curious if you could walk us through how that's working for you guys.
Yeah, I watched that game just because I love watching football. And obviously that was the first game last weekend. Great game, and it was cool to watch that type of game in week zero. But as far as technology, like we've had a really good dry run, like 3 or 4 times already in the stadium on our scrimmage days of, going over iPad mechanics, like what that's going to look like on the sidelines. And we've been practicing the headset communication since spring ball, so that was a really good jump on that. And then when we do have our scrimmage days, I know Coach Franklin, I think, mentioned this before. We have the guys that run that play clock cutoff come into practice, so like we get real reps at that. So it's not the first time happening in a game. So we've had situations come up like that where we got to pivot and just get a quick check off, and that we've had those great conversations, and we wouldn't have had those if we didn't have that like practice in that moment. But I mean, I think it's going to be a great benefit because I had it in high school. Obviously, I didn't have the headset communication in high school, but my high school had the iPads, so I was kind of used to that already. It was just getting back in the swing of things, and then getting on the same page with Danny about what the operation is going to look like on the sideline, what we're going to talk through. And it's really not on the sidelines. It's really not critiquing and coaching. It's more of like making adjustments on the plays, and that's the biggest adjustment we're going to have to make as a team. Like you can't just be watching yourself make a highlight over and over, or you know, getting mad at yourself for making a simple mistake. You have to really be able to flush that and move on to the next series whenever the opportunity comes.
Seth Engel.
Hey, Drew, thanks for doing this. I want to go back to last year's West Virginia game. You come out in the Pac Beaver Stadium, first game as a starter. Is there a moment from that game that maybe sticks with you to this day, whether that's good or bad?
I mean, I think just the warm-ups really is really what sticks out to me. Obviously, we know how much of a crowd we get at games, and you can't really replicate it. Our fan base is extremely passionate, so really just seeing all the packed seats like before, like an hour before kickoff was really special. And something I definitely won't forget. And obviously, hearing your name announced as a starter for the first time is definitely something special. So I'd say those two things. But like warm-ups was just really cool to go through that. Like the energy's at an all-time high just because it's first game of the season at home. So it was a really cool experience to go through for sure.
Time for one more question. Rich Carcel.
Drew, how important are Nick and Fat in this offense, and what do you expect from them this season?
I mean, I think they're just two of the best players, not only on our team, but around the country. And they're super special, players and individuals away from the field. And I think they're going to play a huge role just because of how much they can really do, and how, like their skill set has really grown over the summer. And I think they're doing a really good job of just being honest with the like Coach Sider and what they like and don't like. And I think we're putting them in good positions for them to have one-on-one matchups, and make plays in space. Is when we can get those guys in space, that's going to be a good thing for us just because of how explosive they are as athletes. So they're going to play a huge role. And I mean, as far as like they're just going to be a like big part of our team. And they're two of the bright spots on our team, specifically on offense. Like everybody gravitates towards them with their personalities, even though not a lot of people really see it. They're really fun to be around, and obviously they're like super, like great. They're great together, and they're great mentors for those young running backs. Like that room is really deep. Obviously, everybody knows Nick and Fat, but that whole room has a lot of potential in it, and it's going to be exciting to see that this year.